Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 634 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, Kem Cetinay letting us know about how we love to come together and enjoy food as with a family or with a group of friends. And Krispy Kreme are at the heart of that. They've been doing some research, of course, Kem, you'll know from Love Island, and his little stint on MasterChef too. He's now co-owner on a restaurant, so he knows a thing or two about his food. We'll be talking all about that. We'll be hearing from Kinver Light Operatic Society about their forthcoming show on the 3rd of September. It is All That Jazz at the Stourbridge Town Hall, finding out what you can hear there. We'll be having a natter with Barbra Stretch. She is part of a collective who are bringing some fantastic music to your ears. And talking about brilliant music, we've got Gareth from a singing duo, Gareth and Haley. They are normally out and about and are currently touring at loads of gigs around the Midlands, so we'll be hearing from them. Plus, we'll be talking to the Living Well team at Compton Care about what they do and how they, of course, as ever, need your help. That's all coming up on the show this week. Kinver Light Operatic Society are back on stage within the month, as on the 3rd of September they're going to be wowing you with their voices and so much more. To tell us more, I'm joined now by Ricky Dell and Nina Best. Hello to you both.
Hi.
Hi, Jason.
So, first of all, give us some background. Who's got the history on Kinver Light Operatic?
I mean, the society's been going for a number of years. We normally do a pantomime and a musical every year, but COVID's got in the way. So just to avoid a bit of risk and make rehearsals a bit easier, we're doing this concert in September, early September. And it's been a way of getting all of our members together, which has been really lovely. And we're all together, back together, singing and dancing together. So
yeah, it's one big celebration, isn't it, after a couple of years that we've had.
Absolutely, and a chance really to get some funds into the coffers to make sure that the next big event can take place, which we know is in 2022. We'll come to that in a bit. But obviously, it's all about bringing a group of talented people together to sing and dance. And there's, a huge amount going on to get a show like this on stage, let alone something which has got paid for scripts and whatever else. This is all about bringing some brilliant music, which is going to wow all your audience.
Yeah, we've got lots of great music from lots of musicals that people recognise, like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Les Mis, Mamma Mia, Greatest Showman. We've been doing rehearsals for a few months. Obviously, to start with, it was just the groups of 6, and we were learning songs in groups of 6. But the last couple of weeks has allowed us to all get together a bit more easily. And do you want to say anything else?
No, so we've got songs from the West End musicals and also jukebox musicals. So there's literally something there for everybody. Everyone's going to have a brilliant time. We are definitely going to have a brilliant time. It's going to be fantastic.
And it's a chance to dress up a bit as well, which I thought you haven't really had a chance to do recently.
No. I mean, it's just going to be great to have everyone on stage and and for people just to come and enjoy a night out. No, it's not one show, but you're getting like all the shows in one night.
Yeah, you haven't got that one that no one quite likes at the end of the middle of the second act, which was really a fill-out. No, that doesn't happen with any shows you do. I know that's not the case. But you've got absolutely all the biggest songs from a load of shows. All That Jazz is the title of it. You're taking over the stage of the Stourbridge Town Hall, and I mean that in itself, it's going to be a fantastic venue to play.
Yeah, and we haven't, as a society, played at Stourbridge Town Hall before, so it's completely new for us. We normally play at Kinver High School, so obviously it's a much bigger venue for us this time. We're really excited. The ticket sales are going well. It's just exciting to play somewhere. To be honest, it's just exciting to get back on the stage.
So what does 2022 hold? What is in the offing?
Yeah, so in 2022 we have Sister Act in May. That's going to be at Kinver High School. We were supposed to do that last year, 2020, and obviously because of COVID we weren't able to do that, so we're doing that in May next year. and then Panto again December next year.
So it's starting to get back on track, which is what counts.
Yeah.
And the important bit, though, is you can get hold of tickets for All That Jazz, which is taking place on the 3rd of September. It is at Stourbridge Town Hall, and it's easy to get to, nice, sensible parking, and a fantastic venue to be able to sit back and enjoy what's going to be a huge sound of people sort of belting it out from the stage like that, like they haven't been able to do for the last 18 months.
They totally are going to be belting.
Yeah.
We're off to a rehearsal in a minute, and the sound that we're getting is absolutely tremendous.
So how do we get hold of tickets?
So you can either go to our website, which is klos.co.uk. That has all the information there. Has information about the concert, our future shows. You can join the mailing list there, or you can order tickets directly at ct.co.uk/Klos All That Jazz.
So you can get all the details, tickets, and get yourself along to what will be an absolutely awesome event and the start of things getting back to normal for Kinver Light Operatic.
Yeah, we can't wait.
Can't wait, yeah.
That's going to be absolutely brilliant. Ricky Dale and Nina Best, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Barbra Stretch has a brand new single out on the 20th of August. It is called Rosalind. And to tell us more, she joins me now. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And you?
Okay. I'm very well, thank you. And I'm looking forward to finding out more about the music, because it's not very often I get sent a song which is about a DNA researcher.
Well, that's Martin for you. Martin Elsey. He is the Tribes of Europe person. He has that as his umbrella name for the music that he puts out, and he puts out a diverse type of music. Martin, he writes the songs for me to sing, actually the latest ones, which is very lucky for me. And he wanted to write a song that was about a sort of teenage crush for somebody of the same sex. And he'd been reading Brenda Maddox's book about Rosalind Franklin, which I actually haven't read. I know a bit about Rosalind Franklin, but obviously not as much as Martin. And he kind of put the two together, because that's how Martin writes songs. All of his songs have got a bit more going on than just the obvious theme.
When it comes down to performing them, obviously you get to really immerse yourself in all of this as well. And I think that is probably the magic that you bring to it, isn't it? This is how you get involved in the songs and live the music. Martin
does a demo of them, and he'll sing the song so I can hear, and I'll get the lyrics, and then we had figured the key out that suits me best, and he writes with me in mind. You can tell that really with the way I sing and stuff. They're always very nice for me to sing, because he's written them for that reason.
He knows you, and he knows where to pitch a song to.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of your background and where you get to this point in your career.
Well, I've been a musician for a long time, obviously. I started out when I left university. I auditioned for and got a part joined the Vernons, which was the second wave. The original Vernons girls were the ones that were very successful. It was put together by the same team. We were on a retainer, and I mean, that's a magical thing these days. Nobody gets to be on a retainer. It was incredible. Straight out of university, walk into that job, and we had a recording contract and stuff. And since then, I've then started to work in the women's music scene in London, actually. First of all, as a singer in Jam Today. That was the big one. And then I learned to play the bass and started to be a bass player in other bands. And then there was a sort of fallow period when I bought this place up here with the studio, because we have the studio. So that's how we can put these songs together, because we've got our own recording studio. And my husband is a sound engineer and a bass player. And I had a bit of a fallow period when I was working in London and commuting, and didn't do very much music. And Martin didn't know for a long time that I could do anything like that. And he heard me singing on a song on another band album, and thought, whoa, I like her voice, so let's see if I can work with her, which is how that's happened.
And when it comes to influences on your sound, obviously you adapt yourself to whatever it is you're doing, don't you? Really.
My big influence was Dusty Springfield when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I read Tracy Thorn's book recently called Naked at the Albert Hall, which is I don't know if you've read it, fabulous book about singing and singers. And she said her favourite singer was Dusty Springfield. I was very surprised by that. So, yeah. And I think you can hear it. Somebody's referred to that once in a tweet, something about me sounding, you can hear Dusty Springfield in there. So.
And that's obviously a massive compliment and one that is well deserved. But I mean, there's comparisons to things like Dubstar as well in the around this latest lot of work.
I'm just so appreciative if anybody listens at all and likes what we do. I mean, I just think it's, for me, at my age, it's a thrilling position to be in. Where
I wouldn't normally dwell on someone's age, and I don't think that's a massive. I mean, particularly with music. When if you haven't even got a video of something, you just get the voice, and it's the voice that matters, and that's the bit that really drives it. I mean, when we listen to the sort of music that you're bringing out, it is almost ethereal in some ways, isn't it? The way that the sounds come together.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, that's true. But from my perspective, I think I consider myself to be incredibly privileged. That somebody's writing stuff for me, and it's not just this. Our son Max Taylor puts his material out under the name of Creepy Neighbour. And if you haven't come across any of it, have a listen. And he sings backing vocals with me on all the Tribes of Europe songs, and I sing backing vocals with him on his stuff as well. And it's a kind of a wonderful position I've found myself in, and who would have thought, it's lovely.
Right, so in which case we've got to get him on the show. Maybe let's see if we something for next week. That'd be cool. But so we can get the whole family in and listen to the music that way. Again, he's got to list his mom as some of his influences. Then I'd hope, but
Well, I don't think he has as yet, but it's just lovely for me to work with him. He's brilliant, actually, and it's lovely to be singing with him. He's a lovely singer. He doesn't really need anybody else, but it's fabulous for me to be able to sing with him.
So we've got this single coming out, and so Rosalind is out on the 20th of August. And is there a tour planned with the current work? How do you expect to be able to get out there and promote? Is that something you're looking forward to doing?
Well, I mean, there's no reason why not. Chris plays bass, and he's a really, really experienced bass player. Andy Gangadine's been doing the drums, who's really top whack drummer. He's a friend of Chris's. Whether or not he would be willing to do gigs, I don't really know, but I bet he would. And I've done loads of gigs as well, Martin too. So I'm sure it's something we could do. We haven't, because of COVID, I mean, nobody's really known exactly how to kind of move forward with any of this. Well, there was a possibility of a festival last year, but then it all went out the window. So we'll see. I mean, I don't see why not,
Well, we'll see what happens and comes from that. Meanwhile, though, the back catalogue, which bits can we find out there, and how do we get hold of the single?
Well, it'll be up on all social media platforms, I think. All the kind of all the player and all the rest of it, Spotify. You can get them. You can, if you want to actually buy, there's vinyl versions, a limited number.
Yeah, this is the exciting part, isn't it? Because it's something you can physically hold, and that's the way we like our music.
Yeah. So Martin, you'd have to contact Martin. I think you could do it via Bandcamp, maybe. How to get the singles from him. As I say, a very limited number of them.
Well, the vinyl itself, 7-inch, hand numbered, so these are very, very special. So it's going to be worth getting a copy of this. The digital release will be out there. At this point, we don't have a video to watch at the moment, but that I'm sure isn't too far away. But
there'll be a lyric video, definitely. It's nothing else. Yeah.
And that will be good. But what's next? Is there more in the pipeline in the near future?
Well, yeah, Martin's written another song, I think, that he's itching to get started on. This one's taken quite a while to put together because my husband has been very busy. He does all the kind of mixing and, pulling the track together and everything. So so as soon as we've got this one released, I think we'll be working on the next one that Martin's written already. So
we're looking out for Tribes of Europe. We look for the name Barbra Stretch as well. We will find you that way. And we can see all the work that you've done. I'm hoping you've got a Wikipedia page. You certainly deserve one.
That would be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, if not, we need some of the Barbra Stretch fan club to get the Wikipedia page up and running so we can document all that has gone on. And I mean, I'm not going to ask your age because I think that's awfully rude when I do that to anybody. Because
I'll go on.
No, well, okay, you've alluded to the fact that you feel you are a senior in years. I don't. How old are you?
I'm 70.
Blooming heck, I wouldn't have guessed that either.
But I am. Do you see, this is the thing. And I think I'm really proud of that. I think that's great. It's a great thing that I'm in the position to be doing what I'm doing, you know. Good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree, which means when you finish, you've been doing this for 5 decades now, which is that's more than enough experience to stand you in good stead. And I think it shows, doesn't it, to be fair?
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, we're loving the sound. We're going to take a listen to Rosalind now. Tribes of Europe, Barbra Stretch, all of that. Check it out. You will enjoy it. And it is going to be a treat as hopefully, fingers crossed, we can find you at some festivals across 2022 at the very least.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. Thank you.
They don't see like I do. Oh, oh, oh,
reconnecting with their friends and family since lockdown has eased. And that can include food. Somebody who knows a thing or two about his food is Kem Cetinay, who joins me now. Hello, sir.
How are you? It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to talk to you. And we're celebrating on many fronts at the moment because Xbox and Krispy Kreme have got together to make it even easier to enjoy some brilliant food with our friends and family.
They have. They've got me on board. No surprise, because they know how much I love my food. To celebrate the Krispy Kreme and Xbox have collaborated with 20 years of Xbox and the Nexus level donut, which has been created just for this collab, which is available till the 22nd of August. So I will be in stores, Edinburgh next Tuesday and Enfield in London next Thursday. So it'll be all over my socials. I can't wait. You know, I love food. So no surprise they've got the king of it in. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, we wouldn't have it any other way. But I mean, this donut itself is a work of art. It is worthy of any cookery class, isn't it?
It is, especially, I'm not a bad cook myself, so I'm not surprised. But yeah, they will be giving a free game pass for every dozen purchases as well, and a chance to win the Xbox Series S console. So make sure you sign in as well, because you might win it. You got to be in it to win it, mate.
It is possible. But I mean, this takes the theme of Xbox and turns it into donut form, because you've got your standard donut, you've got a brownie batter in there, then it's iced in green with the Xbox logo on the top. I mean, eating logos, there's a thing.
What more do you want? I was thinking I might just leave it in my room just to take selfies with it. I might do. Who knows?
Social media star, and I mean, the amount of stuff that you get involved with. I mean, you've done a fair amount of reality stuff from the likes of Love Island through a bit of cooking too. I mean, a restaurant co-founder as well. I mean, is this the sort of delicacy you'd like to be serving if they hadn't got there first?
Yeah, well, it depends. I need to talk to Krispy Kreme, see what deal we can do, see if they'll put it in the restaurant. I know they can be tough. They can be tough with me sometimes, so we'll see. But no, do you know what? I'm just newly a restaurant owner myself, and I'm still learning the ropes and trying to figure out how it works for me, but I'm loving it. And, you know, I think the most important thing is that I come from such a food background, you know, from a Turkish family. We're so used to sharing, and like I said before, there'll never be food on the table on individual plates. We're always sharing. That's just how we are. So it suits perfectly with me.
But I mean, a donut is a great thing. I have to admit, I don't normally share my Krispy Kreme. I once accidentally bought an entire dozen due to a language problem whilst I was in Saudi Arabia. And I had a nice, enjoyable evening eating the entire box in my hotel room that night. But I mean, it is a bit of fun, this one. And it is great to be celebrating 20 years of Xbox. I mean, are you a gamer as well as everything else you get up to?
I am. I'm not going to lie. I think lockdown made me realise that I still am. I hadn't played in a long time. And then when we was all stuck indoors, I had my headset on every night. My mum said to me, Kem, it's like I'm having a flashback of 6-7 years ago, screaming at the TV. I can't help it. I'm just a competitive guy, and whatever I do, it could be playing Xbox, or it could be daring my mate for a race down the road. Whatever it is, I just can't help myself. But that's just how I am.
You're still racing your mates down the road, basically.
I can't help it. If they say to me they're faster than me, I will call them out for a race. I could be 60 years old, I'll still do it.
And obviously, the Love Island thing was a little while ago now, but it's a whole experience. So what have you thought of the latest batch who are enjoying themselves in the sun?
Yeah, do you know what? I love the show. I couldn't not love it, being from it myself. And every year is different. And I think just the most important thing about it, people need to just realise that it is just young people just having a laugh, and to not sometimes take it too seriously. You know, they're just doing their best. They're not actors, and they're not trained. They're just having a laugh.
And when it comes down to maybe getting the gang together for a donut, I mean, do you meet up with any of your year for a Krispy Kreme in a
always, you know, funny enough, I was born in North London with Green, and I remember when Chris first come to London to see me after the show. I remember we was driving past, and I took him because I said, have you ever seen that they actually make them in there? And he couldn't believe it. And I took him into the store, and he was watching him it was like, you know, when you see like a 4-year-old, first time they've seen something, you just, you know, you couldn't believe it.
And we've got the Xbox donut. What would you create if it came to donut form then? How would you show your love to your friends and family?
Maybe I'd just put a donut with my face on it. What more do they want? Do you
know but what filling would you have?
Oh, me, always strawberry or chocolate. I'm not sure.
Maybe a mix of strawberry and chocolate. That could work.
Maybe the both. Bit of both.
So give us all the details of where we can find out about the Krispy Kreme competition, and you could be a winner and taking away that Xbox as well.
Yeah, of course. You can find all the details on my socials, as well as Krispy Kreme's at Krispy Kreme UK and at Xbox UK. But I will be posting a lot of it on my socials in the up and coming week. So yeah, it's exciting, and I will be visiting stores. So I'll be meeting the people in Edinburgh and my local one in Enfield. So I'm looking forward to it.
So you literally did either end of the country. You're going to be
yeah,
the nation.
basically I'm travelling. Yeah, I'm going all over, mate. They're sending me all over.
And I mean, the donut we're looking out for, what's the name of that one again?
The donut we're looking out for is the Nexus Level donut, and it has been created specially to mark 20 years of Xbox. So I will be celebrating that in store in the next week. Can't wait.
That's the way to do it. Well, it's going to be absolutely brilliant fun. Check out the Krispy Kreme competition. And, of course, get your friends and family together for a donut. Even if you want to do it outside in the garden in a relaxed way, we've got the weather for it just at the moment. And enjoy the joys of some family time. And you appreciate that, don't you, mate?
I love a bit of family time. Most important thing to me. So yeah, can't wait.
Well, good luck with the restaurant and getting that Krispy Kreme deal for dessert. They'll look good on the sweet trolley. And we look forward to seeing more of you on the TV in the near future.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers.
For a good couple of decades, Gareth and Haley have been entertaining the masses with their amazing singing ability. It runs in the family. They are brother and sister. Half of that duo joins me now to tell me more. Gareth, how you doing, mate?
Good, thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, good to have you along. So, obviously, you've with a sibling, you've got a ready-made singing partner, and you've been performing since you were kids, haven't you?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, many years now.
Give us all the history then. How did it all start?
I come from a musical family. My granddad used to play a lot of live music and sing. My uncle was a singer. My other uncle was part of a band back in the 70s. So obviously, I grew up in a musical family. I started singing probably the age of 10, possibly younger, starting off doing, star searches and things like that at a young age. Started singing on my own at the age of about 15. And then in 1998, my sister came along and we teamed up as a duo and started going out as Gareth and Haley.
Well, I think you missed the award-winning duo. You have been amazing people, not only at gigs and events, but also your industry peers as well, who've been shoving these accolades on you for this time too.
Yeah, it's we've been really fortunate, really lucky. I don't like to think I'm any better than what I am. I mean, we've been really fortunate and blessed, so I can't really complain.
So, I'm based out of Wolverhampton and singing up and down the country, but had some amazing gigs over time. One of the most amazing ones must have been the time you spent with the late, great Joe Longthorne back in 2019.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. It was a lovely evening. Obviously, it was a big thing to myself, obviously, performing with Joe. I grew up listening to, Gene Pickney, Tom Jones, Joe Longthorne, and obviously based a lot of my musical, my songs on that musical era, a lot really. So to perform with him and to be asked to perform with him was obviously a massive thing for myself. And obviously, with it being not long after Joe passed away after doing the gig as well, it was special really. It's like a moment in time I won't forget really. And his fans were great. They really, come up and obviously praise myself up as well on the evening, so it was lovely. It was just something I'll always remember. He's a lovely guy. I had an absolutely massive following, Joe, and obviously he's a credit to the music industry really, what he's done. He'll always live on in his memory really,
Absolutely. And the music that you and Haley are performing, it sort of goes from 50s through to modern day, so you've got quite one huge repertoire there, haven't you?
Yeah, you can see it on the website. Yeah, we do a mixture of stuff. I mean, obviously, Jason, with the clubland itself now, I mean, it's just such a big age span. I mean, obviously, you got younger people in there, going right back to people in the 80s and 90s in clubland. So obviously, we've always tried to do a variety and there's something for everyone, really. But yeah, we do quite a big selection. So yeah.
And you're playing all sorts of venues as well. I mean, everything from some of the holiday camp circuit through to the clubs. And those clubs that we still have. So it's been a horrendous year. Understandably, we've not been able to get together the way we would normally do. And this has obviously meant that you probably were very, very eager to get back out and about as soon as you could.
Yeah, it's been, obviously, I'm fully aware that there's a bigger picture. There's been people ill and obviously passing away and stuff like that. So obviously, you know, there is a bigger picture. I want everybody back to normality and healthy and everything. You know, this can something that can be put right in time, and things are sort of slowly going back to normality again now. So at the end of the day, like I'm just grateful that myself, my family, all my friends and my family are sort of healthy, really. And you've got to like put things into perspective, but it has been a really difficult year and a half, really, obviously, not just financially, but, you know, I enjoy being out there. It's not always about the money for myself. I love being up on stage, and I know my sister does as well. We love the buzz of being up there, and we're really, really fortunate and lucky, you know, to do that. And we have really, really missed it, like, you know, missed seeing people out, like, obviously from the clubs and obviously the venues and stuff. It's been difficult, but, you know, I'll say we are glad to be back now, like, really are.
Yeah, onwards and upwards. And as you say, you've got so much experience with everything that you've done. You're ready to work a room as soon as you get booked. I mean, it's been quite manic since you've been back. I know you've been working hard. Is there any public events we can go to at the moment in the near future?
We're all over the shop, really. I mean, obviously, a lot of our work is sort of clubland, and obviously, the last few years since I've had children as well, obviously, I've tried to, you know, stay local if possible, because before I had my kids, I was week and up in Burnley and Blackpool the next week, so it was like the length and breadth of the country. But now I've got little ones, I'll try if I can to keep it more local, but we're all over the shop, really, like, and you know, it's mainly clubland and cabaret and that type of thing at the minute.
So we'll be able to see you performing at a venue not too far away from us in the not too distant future. You've got a website with all the details on, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's www.garethandhaley.com. You can read up all about us and pictures and videos and some music on there. There's also bits for my tribute work to Jane Pitney and stuff on there. You know, there's lots of different stuff. So if you want to take a look, that'd be brilliant.
Check it out. We're going to take a listen to a track now. What have you got for us?
There's a couple of tracks I sent over. There's we do a lot of Motown in our show. I'm a massive, you know, Tamla Motown fan. I love soul, that era. There's obviously a duet called Two Can Have a Party, and there's also a solo track on there, which was my late mum's favourite song, which was A Place in the Sun, which was a big hit for Stevie Wonder many years ago.
Well, we'll take a listen to your work and Haley's work. But for now, Gareth, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jason. Have a good day.
Who needs a nose or a powder cry? Who needs the records turned out loud? Oh, yeah, we two can have a pie. Oh, yeah. Oh, pretty music, a cozy chair, lots of love I'm holding in the arm, baby. We two can have a party all alone. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, but together, I'm like a feather floating in the air. Oh, I don't care where we're going, just as long as you are there. Baby, baby, me and you and me, we can have a party just to wear tea. Oh, it's true. We two can have a party. Oh, yeah. When we're together, I'm like a feather floating in the air. Oh, I don't care where we're going, just as long as you are there. Baby, baby, me and you and me, we can have a party just so we'll see. Oh, it's true, we two can have a party. Oh, true, we two can have a party all alone. Like a long, lonely street, I keep reaching towards a dream. Moving on, moving on, like a branch on a tree. I keep ever reaching to be free. Moving on, moving on. 'Cause there's a bliss in the sun where there's hope for everyone. When my poor restless hearts gather round, there's a bliss in the sun, and before my life is done, gonna find me a bliss in the sun. Like an old dusty road, I get weary from the Lord. Moving on, moving on. Like this tide traveling, I've been rolling since my birth. Moving on, moving on. 'Cause there's a bliss in the sun where there's hope for everyone. When my poor restless hearts gather round, don't you know there's a bliss in the sun, and before my life is done, gonna find me a bliss in the sun. Now, the times when you're mad and times when you're sad, always remember, don't you know there's a bliss in the sun where there's hope for everyone. When my whole restless hearts gather round, there's a bliss in the sun, and before my life is on, gonna find me a bliss in the sun.
There are many strings to the bow of Compton Care. One of them is the Living Well service. Marie White is part of the team down there and joins you now to tell us more. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, first of all, tell us a bit about your role, because you're a sister, but also team leader.
Yeah, so I'm the sister and team leader from the Living Well service at Compton. So Living Well doesn't always sort of go in line with hospice care, doesn't make sense. But what we do is we look after the patients that are at the beginning of their palliative journey. So, you know, patients might have some symptom control issues, they might have some social, psychological support needs. So we bring them in under our umbrella. We run an education program for them in regard to living well and how we can teach them coping strategies to improve their quality of life. We give them peer support groups, we have diversional groups, and we do various education and social support groups along the line. So patients might come in for clinical needs, they might come in for line care, for bloods, for wound care, and then they would maybe then come along to the Compton Cafe, which is a peer support group, or they might then attend some of our education sessions. It's really a very bespoke service, and patients can, once they're under my umbrella, they can come and go as they want. And we also support the carers as well. So we can support the carers with some moving and handling sessions, with some skin care sessions, with general sort of psychological support. We can refer them to our counsellors. So there's a huge package that we offer, and I can only do that with the support of amazing volunteers and my healthcare assistants that help me run this service.
And there's all sorts of things that you actually do surrounding this service as well. And one of the most exciting ones, on top of all of the general day-to-day essential stuff, is the virtual reality side of it. So explain a bit more about what's going on there. Have you got patients with headsets on?
Some. Yeah. So the virtual reality is, I'm not a computer geek, so I'm not completely up on this. But the virtual reality has been amazing. The staff have all played with it. They absolutely love it. So what we're trying to do is to bring that technology to people that are able. So obviously there's certain clients that it wouldn't be appropriate for. But for those patients that maybe need some distraction therapy, they've come here, they're just in a bad place, whether it be psychologically, whether it be that they're bored, could be anything. We can support them, but also for people with pain control. And this is where we've seen the most amazing results. So we have had the virtual reality set now for a little while, pre-COVID, but obviously with COVID, we've not been able to use it as we'd have liked to have done. So we've started utilising it. We've got various programmes on there. It was initially developed from St Giles Hospice, one of the programmes called the Forrest of Serenity. And it was narrated by David Attenborough. So you can imagine that sort of his voice and that calming effect. But patients can go into different activities, whether they want relaxation or stimulation. So I know there's like a dinosaur one. I wouldn't really want to go there, but it depends what you're looking for. Or you could go to the beach and relax. So the principle is that I think our biggest impact has been for the patients with pain. So we had a patient who had total pain. Total pain is when, as much as we treat medically, because there's so many sort of social and psychological issues going on around that patient, we can't even tap into that pain to help reduce it. So we tried this on a patient that we were desperate to support, and we tried diversional therapy, we tried all the sort of medicinal routes, and nothing was working. And her pain scores were frequently sort of 10s out of 10s, 9s out of 10s, and we weren't improving. So with the VR, we took that to her room. So she was actually here then as an inpatient. We can also do this in Living Well, just as an outpatient appointment. Our diversional therapist went in, started the VR session with her, and her pain score literally went from 9 to 0. She actually fell asleep while she had the VR on. So for somebody that's in that acute distress, psychologically, socially, that acute pain, to be able to relax so much that it brought her completely down to the point that my colleague just sat with her while she slept, and she'd kept her hand on her arm, so she knew someone was there. God, just amazing. And that pain control, lasts for a period after that therapy's finished. So, and the theory is that the more you do that therapy, potentially the more they can take themselves back to those places. And then when that pain comes on, they can start remembering what they were seeing previously, what they were experiencing previously, to bring their pain control back to where they need to have it.
Well, that sounds like an amazing way of approaching something. And obviously, the fewer drugs that you're able to take as well, that can make a massive difference to the way someone feels generally too. So there's much more to it than just at that time of relaxation. It is a much bigger picture, and it is the big picture that the Living Well team always look at, isn't it?
It is. I think, when I first came here 4 years ago, I was overwhelmed really with the holistic nature of the care. People talk about holistic care. I hadn't really experienced it throughout my National Health Service working career in the acute trust in the community. You do your best, but you're very much isolated services supporting a patient. When I came here, within a week, I was actually tearful at the impact these patients have, whether it be social support, spiritual support, the medical support we've got on hand, the clinical support, the healthcare, the volunteers, spiritual is all there, literally all there. We're supporting the patient and their family. So, we've got the family that we depend on to support this patient, but actually their need is almost equivalent sometimes to the patient need in regard to support. So being able to support them as one entity and allow that patient to feel safe and cared for at home is just amazing.
Well, where can we go to find out more about what the Living Well team are doing and how you're making a difference as part of the big organisation that is Compton Care?
Yeah, so as an organisation, we're very busy with our changes. So we are looking at, we've got our rapid response team in regard to the community. We've got our community support nurses that are out there visiting patients in their home. They're looking at sort of symptom control and support for those patients that are referred into Compton. Obviously, we've got our inpatient unit, and they're taking patients for symptom control, for end-of-life care, as you would expect. That's obviously the most sort of stable thing that hospices are known for. But also for respite when it's appropriate, that's looked on a sort of needs basis really. And we've also got our lymphedema team, our bereavement support teams, all there supporting families, patients, and the wider community. So I think that the thing we're trying to get across is palliative care is not about just end-of-life care. There is a huge amount of support we can put in to that palliative journey to enable people to have a much better quality of life, whether it be the family, the carer, the patient.
So you can see all this through the Compton website, comptoncare.org.uk, and follow the links to Living Well. And of course, any support that you give gets used in the ways in which is needed by Compton Care, and the Living Well team are a massive part of that. Well, for now, Marie White, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for your time.
Well, that's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 635 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.